A celebratory moment, history in the making for the DA when Mashaba was voted into office. Meeting vigorously with the press to ensure his mandate is understood. Delivering in council to a contentious opposition, the African National Congress. Violent student protests in Braamfontein, which led to violent clashes with police and civilians, demanded his leadership. Flash floods in November leaves more than 6 people dead. The poorest of the poor loses their homes, possessions and loved ones. All of this calls him to action in the first 100 days in office. I also had the opportunity to sit down with the mayor on his very first day on the job.
For the first time in the 22-year history of our democracy that Johannesburg is under DA-led administration, and I'm the mayor to steer the ship. So I'm excited with this.
Major turning point, of course, yeah.
Major. I think we needed to save our country. We needed to get Johannesburg to drive our economy. If you look at South Africa over the last 100 years, Johannesburg has always been the economic engine.
On the 20th of September, we met with him at his office to gain insight on a few initiatives he was implementing.
Yeah, it's still settling, just under a month in office. But I think I'm quite pleased with our achievements. It's been great. It's been satisfying. When I go home, I sleep, obviously tired, but I sleep, get up in the morning, go to gym and come back here. And it's a kind of work where you work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Sure. I want to talk about this current hot issue, the Fees Must Fall campaign. Protests taking place at Witwatersrand University, at universities across the country, different universities, following that statement by the Higher Education Minister on fee increments not exceeding 8%. The students are angry, they're upset. I'm curious to know what your thoughts are on this issue.
Well, it's a difficult situation because this is the government that promised our youth, our students, free education. What I need to understand, when they made this promise, whatever time, where did they think they were going to get the money from? Was it just politicking, or were they thinking that they were going to get away with it? Now, all of a sudden, it's caught up with them, and I think it's up to government to sort it out. But for me, as a South African, what concerns me is, where's the money going to come from for free education? Because if you look at the balance sheet of this country, sure, with all the best intentions, it is my wish and hope that one day I can live in a country where we can afford free education.
A lot of money has been spent on this eco-mobility agenda under the previous administration. You're saying it's a waste of money. Why?
Well, it's not a waste of money as such. It's not as simple as that. Let me tell you the rationale behind my decision. I think it's not something that I just woke up and took this decision. I live in Sandton. I've lived there for just over 18 years, and I love my suburb. And it's great for it to see more improvement. But on the other hand, I have my neighbors just across the freeway, 10 minutes away from my house, people of Alexander with no basic services, no real basic services. And now, when I come across 70 million rands being budgeted for further expansion of this bicycle lanes in Sandton and surroundings, and I'm saying no. This can't be correct. This can't be right. I think this money deserves to go to our communities where we can give them hope, can give them dignity. It's about actually closing this disparities within communities. I think we need to build bridges between communities. We just cannot afford to be spending everything in Sandton and affluent areas and leave our poor communities behind. For me, a thing like this, it's not negotiable. And I believe those communities deserve government intervention. And that's what government is all about, to ensure that we take care of the vulnerable members of your community.
Sure. And I think part of the agenda of eco-mobility was also to reduce congestion in and around the city itself. But the question is, what are we doing about solving our traffic light issues? It is extremely frustrating for me as a commuter as well. It's very hard to suck up the ongoing excuses coming through. Again, you've just taken office from the previous administration. I just can't figure out, and Joburg residents can't figure out, why can't we fix the traffic lights?
I mean, honestly, these are some of those weird things happening to Johannesburg. We have just Cape Town, traffic lights work there. London, Norway, in some of the most difficult weather conditions. And traffic lights in Johannesburg used to work. Something must have gone terribly wrong.
And this has been going on for years now.
And I've had discussions with MMC of Infrastructure Services. They really want them to really come out with a plan to get Johannesburg traffic lights working again, because this is proven technology. It's been around for what, 100 years or so? Mm-hmm. I cannot see why us as the city of Johannesburg cannot fix them. So I can promise people of Johannesburg traffic lights, maintenance and upgrade is going to receive our priority, because by so doing, then we can relieve traffic congestions on our roads.
Shortly after that interview, the Fees Must Fall campaign intensified in the streets of Braamfontein. Motorists driving by were pelted with stones and businesses were vandalized.
This is unacceptable, and from here I'm going to be going to the university to speak to the Vice Chancellor, and afterwards I'll be talking to some of the community leaders who are involved in helping us address this particular matter. Our view as a city, we're really very sympathetic. We empathize with the plight of our poor students. Without any doubt, we cannot ignore the fact that our students need intervention. But at the same time, we are saying to the criminal elements in particular, please don't sabotage the good work that our students are crying for. Because when we started getting ourselves involved with this, this amounts to criminal activity. This is not a matter to deal with student fees. This is pure criminality, and us as a city, we cannot tolerate it. We cannot accept it, and I don't really believe that any society, including our students, poor students, who are expecting government to assist with this matter of free education, this cannot be part of that.
Early days in office, the mayor seems determined to deliver on promises.
Mam Ana Dikhale has been living in Diepkloof, Soweto for 60 years, and today she literally becomes a homeowner of this beautiful place behind us.
I'm very, very, very happy. I've got my house now today. A great children's home. It won't die, this home. It will remain being Dikhale's home.
Following weeks of no rain and diminishing water supply in Johannesburg, finally, in November, the rains came. In torrents, wreaking havoc. Cars were washed away along with homes. More than 6 people died in the flash floods.
I've just had a briefing at Senton Fire Station with our emergency services, the police, and with the MMC to address the immediate situation. So they're going to be drawing up a plan to look at the needs of our people, how many people are affected, and come out with a plan. We have to, unfortunately, as a city, we need the engagement and the cooperation of the provincial government. In fact, for me, we even need the national government to assist us to provide housing, short-term housing for our people with immediate effect.